LT Indigo, and unfortunately, I will not have a co-commentator. But I thought to do something special tonight is interview the championship leader, which is Indian Jesus, and he won't be here for the whole race, obviously, because he needs to concentrate. So he'll be here for a short period of time, and I'm just gonna run through how things have gone for Indian Jesus so far. So, firstly, how are you?
Thanks, Jamie. I'm a bit nervous, of course. It's always a big race, the final one, and I think a few seasons back I actually lost the championship here in Bahrain.
I think you
So,
did.
yeah, hoping to make up for it.
I was your well. I'm not going to tell you what your plans and strategies are going into this race, but yeah, how are you going to approach this race? Like, you're obviously the championship leader. Are you just going to focus on keeping crack behind, probably not going for the race win, just keep an eye on where the other two are really?
Y- Yeah, so I mean, I'm mainly focused on Rapid, of course, since he's only 6 points behind, and Crack is, I think, 14 points behind. So, of course, I have to have Crack at the back of my mind when racing. But yeah, main focus right now is on Rapid and staying ahead of Rapid and just making sure that he doesn't gain any points on me.
How do you feel like the season's gone overall for you? Because I know you had a bit of up and down races so far, but you're still first in championship, which is consistency and other people's mistakes as well as your own pace as well. So, how do you feel like overall this season's gone for you?
Yeah, honestly, I don't feel very confident about this season. There's been quite a few races where a lot of points on the board. Mexico, for example, with the wrong setup and some other incidents and stuff where I just lost a huge amount of points, which would have aided me right now. But I mean, you can't be fully discontent being first. So I hope I just managed to finish it off on a high note.
How is Bahrain as a track for you? Do you particularly enjoy it? Do you struggle around here?
Since I've switched to no ABS this season, this is one of the tougher tracks for me, especially turn 10, I think. But yeah, I put in a bit of practice here to make myself feel confident and just approach it from there. And I think, yeah, I'm in a good place.
What point in the championship did you think this would get real? Like, what point in the season did you think, oh, I'm fighting for the championship now? I need to take it more cautiously and just think things through.
I'd say, I mean, the season's been up and down. There's been good races, bad races, and Uh, I think from race two or three onwards, I've been up there with the top five, and from then, of course, you start thinking about the championship and you start thinking about how to approach races. But I just took it one race at a time, and I'm here now, and hopefully I can pull it off.
Well, it's the final race of the season, so there's no room for mistakes whatsoever. And just be careful out there and have a good time. And I'm going to let you go because qualifying is about to start. So good luck, Indian Jesus. May the best come out on top.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. See you later, hopefully.
See you on the podium interviews if you're the champion or if you're on the podiums. We'll see. So I think Indian Jesus is now off to where he was before I invited him to the party, just to have a quick chat for a championship leader. And unfortunately, I don't have time to do the other two as qualifying is about to start. Then 80 minutes of qualifying around here at the Bahrain International Circuit, which was first introduced, I think, back in 2004, judging by memory. I think I might have got that wrong. Could have been 2005 or 4. It was 2004. I've got the stats up for the track, and it's a very good track, you know. And it's been the opening seasons, well, since 2010. The 2010 was the first race in Bahrain here. Then it became Australia afterwards. Then I think Bahrain started to become the season opener since 2021. Obviously, we had COVID back in 2020, so it was Austria that became the first race of the season. But here in Bahrain, it's a good opening season as well. We saw back in 2021 where we saw Hamilton and Verstappen go at it in the desert here, and we really saw how things could have turned out for the rest of the season for the 2021 championship between Verstappen and Hamilton. Hamilton won the race, but Verstappen could have, but unfortunately for him, he exceeded track limits coming out of turn number 4. This is where we are right now. We're very careful the exit of turn 4. But I don't know if you guys noticed in the actual Bahrain race in 2021, there's a lot of drivers going out wide and not a lot of people picking up warnings or penalties for it either. I think I saw a video of Lewis Hamilton going outside of the track about 30 times in a race, But obviously the stewards were inconsistent as well. We saw a lot of penalties dished out in one race and not a lot of penalties dished out in another as well. Austria is what I'm talking about too. And in 2022 we saw the battle between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen in a new generation of cars, which is leading on to 2024 now this season. And it was a great battle between Leclerc and Verstappen. Verstappen tried to overtake Charles 3 times, but unfortunately for him he could not make it work. Then obviously we saw both Red Bulls retire, and most Ferrari fans, including me, thought that this could be a glimpse of hope for the Ferrari team. But after Austria, God knows when, it all started to go downhill for them. And we'll see what happens this season too. Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, to see who could match the Red Bulls. And here's Basil Fox then. Hasn't joined all season, but he has been racing the last few races. So let's see how he does then. He did miss the Netherlands Grand Prix. He qualified P13 and 14. But he didn't actually turn up for the race, so I'm not quite sure why. But as we head down into turn 1 then, a bit out wide in T1, you don't really want to touch the curb, you just want to kiss the apex, a bit of wheel spin for good measure too. So yeah, let's be very careful not to pick up wheel spin on the exit of turn 1, turn 2, considering it's a heavy braking zone, approaching about 320 kilometers an hour all the way down to about 80. Coming into turn 4 then, just be very careful of what we saw Sebastian Vettel spin back in 2019 when he lit the rear up fighting with Lewis Hamilton, and obviously in that race too, where Charles Leclerc almost won, but unfortunately had an engine problem as we head down towards the right-hander of turn 8, bring it in very nicely, shaping the car on the throttle immediately as we head down towards the double left-hander. As Jesus was talking about, this corner has been difficult for no ABS. It's super easy to snatch the rear brakes and lock up. I remember when we first started this game, when it was brand new back in June, I struggled particularly to get that corner right with no ABS, considering I've done no ABS for about 2019, so it was a learning process, but eventually I got used to it. Saying that though, I haven't driven around this track for a long time. I used to love this track, but I have no idea about it anymore because it's been a long time since I've been around in the desert of Bahrain. Talk about Bahrain as well, F2 had their pre-season testing, and it was wet. You don't really see a wet around here in Bahrain. Never seen a wet race or qualifying or practice session around here in Bahrain. But as he makes his way out the final 2 corners, Basil Fox is about to throw down the marker of a 29.5 for the rest of them to beat then. So let's see if anybody can match that. The car behind him is the AlphaTauri, who could have scored a podium back in the Singapore Grand Prix, but got a bit too impatient and took out DC in the process. And I think his championship aspirations ended there. Dragon of Speed giving the Red Bull a tow down the straight, and let's see who that Red Bull is. Is it KXI? Yeah, it is. He's coming down into turn 1. And interesting about KXI as well, he's won the opening Grand Prix this season. I think that's the race we saw crashed at the final corner in Saudi Arabia. I remember a TikTok about it as Toad goes quickest by a tenth with a 29.4, Maslow's in P3, and I say this every week, Crack's gone quickest, which is very crucial for him in the championship. I say this every week, I need to wear my glasses because I'm squinting at the screen when my glasses are right in front of me, so let me adjust my eyes. And Leon in the Red Bull has gone P4. Both Red Bulls have been unlucky this season. Look like they got off to a strong start, but unfortunately gone downhill, and neither Red Bull have scored podiums ever since that first race of the season. And KXI, I think he came about close 2 or 3 times. I think one back in Portugal, another one back at... It just came to my head, now it's gone. I think in Mexico, I'm not quite sure, but he was super close. I think he had a bit of a wobble on going out of turn 10 there as we head into the right-hander of turn 11. Another wobble on as well. We don't really see that in turn 11 no more, because I remember in the olden games where people touched the inside curb and spun the car. He did exceed track limits, but got away with it, has KXI, as he makes his way down into the final corner then. And this can be a tricky corner as well. The tyres are very hot at this particular stage of qualifying. There's green flags all around to indicate we can get going once again. He crosses the line now. It's a 30.6 for the Red Bull, so definitely needs an improvement as well. And DC has gone P2 in the Mercedes then, so decent lap time from DC. I think if I remember him saying, he snatched the championship away a few seasons ago. I don't know if he won the race or not, but I remember a battle for DC. I think it was quite a long time ago as well. He managed to overtake somebody on the final lap at the final corner as well. Great stuff indeed as Tobes in the Ferrari got P3. Tobes is another driver to watch out for qualifying, but unfortunately can't seem to get it all together in the race. He goes backwards just a bit in the race as well. I know he's been involved in some contact as well, but yeah, his racecraft needs to be improved to be up there. Punishment in the Aston Martin scored some decent points back at the Dutch Grand Prix, if I remember correctly. He was in P3 at one stage as well. P11 actually it says here, so I thought he finished inside the top 10. but he might have he picked up a drive through penalty. That's what happened to him. Now I remember what happened. And it was very unlucky too, because he was on course for either a podium or inside the top 5 for sure. Stevan goes P5, he's picked up a few podiums now and then, has Stevan this season. He's been a very quick driver, but yeah, inconsistent it must be said throughout the whole season, as Rapid, our championship contender, is only P7. This is early stage of qualifying, we don't know if it's a representative lap time for himself, but he'll definitely want to improve on that for sure. ILT Crack doesn't have a teammate to help him this race, so he's a loner out there. Unfortunately, is Crack. His teammate is Mark Wilson, or has been Mark Wilson, but unfortunately he's not shown up in the last few races or so, and also he's retired a lot this season by retiring the pit lane. Has Mark Wilson. He beat Nacho to tier 5 in the championship last season, but unfortunately this season couldn't get going really. Let's see who else is out there. King Panda, India Jesus, who I was speaking to. There he is, Jesus, coming down towards the left-hander at turn 10. I think it's a slight lock-up on the entry there, but hopefully it doesn't affect him. He is running no ABS. It says it's better running no ABS as well. No ABS can be quicker, but it all depends how you use it, of course, because in the rain, it's a lot more stopping power as well. I don't know how to describe it, because in the rain when you have ABS on, it's so hard to stop the car. As we go through turn 11 now into turn 12, down into third, up into fourth immediately then, back in the throttle, and looks very smooth there for India Jesus as he comes on the back straight there as we make our way down into the final corner we go. Glow stick is up into P2. Both Mercedes have been quite strong this season, but had their weaknesses some point of the season. Glow stick's not turned up for every race either, but it's so close to the top of the timing sheets. What about India Jesus? What's he going to do? It's pole with a 29.232, and he beats Crack by about 700 as well, so very close margins indeed between our championship contender. Unfortunately for Rapid, he is somewhat off the pace, but we'll see if that's his true pace or not, or whether he made a mistake. I'm not quite sure. King Panda has beaten him by 7 thousandths as well, and he puts his Alpine into P9. 9 minutes of this qualifying session has already flown by, and Jay Hartnell hasn't set a lap time yet. So whilst it's quiet a bit on the track, we'll go through what we've missed so far. There has been an announcement just made a day ago in the CRL announcement chat. Some of us are happy and some of us are not, understandably, but it's the way things go sometimes. Sometimes you need a change and need a fresh restart. I think Glowstick is on a lap in P3. Let's have a look if he is. Tobes is going for a lap time, but I want to see what Glowstick's doing out there in the Mercedes. What's happened to my timing thing? I'm trying to scroll up and down, but it won't let me. There we go. I think somebody joined the session to prevent me doing that. Glowstick is in the pit lane, so watch the Ferrari at Tobes then and see how he does throughout his lap. It's a 29.4 for him. Only a few more tens, he could find himself up into P2, but it's so close up there. So CRL announcements then, made yesterday. Post-season 10 plans. As season 10 comes to a close this coming week, we want to make a couple of announcements regarding our post-season plans. The attendance, I think Tobes made a mistake there, the entry towards turn 6 and turn 7, not quite sure if he touched that inside curb and lost it back in the car, but that certainly has ruined his lap time. Now for Tari as well, looks like he's struggling out of turn 2 and 3. Is that Muzzles down there? Let's have a look. It's his teammate, minus 8, who's on an outer lap, so he must be getting out of the way for somebody. I think that was a Williams who went past. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look to see who it is. There's Basil Fox, 3 tenths down in the middle sector, so he must have made a mistake somewhere. And DC is currently in a lap time. 9 thousandths down in the first sector is DC, but can make some time up in the middle sector, the technical part of the track. Yeah, the attendance has been pretty dire throughout the season, and the lack of enjoyment for the F1 game has played a big part in that. We're going to make sure we want to return to F1 League racing. It is fun and enjoyable for all. So here is our post-season plans, but we know that we continue ACC x CRL. ACC, thanks to Bosch Evans, has become very popular, and it is a very good game as well. I'm on a pad, so I can't really to tell you how good it is, but here is DC cross the line now. What's going to be for him? It's pole with a 29.1 for the Mercedes. Then he hasn't won a race this season yet, DC. He came so close as Claire PR has crashed out at turn 4, and I think he must have lost the back in the car and spun it in the gravel. Well, there is no gravel around there, that particular part of the track. But unfortunately for him, he has retired. ILT Crack, our championship contender, who's 14 points away in the championship. Crack, He's had a lot of unfortunate events recently. I remember back at the Singapore Grand Prix too. I remember at the Austin Grand Prix where he picked up penalties due to a safety car infringement. He crashed on the final lap with Rapid in Monza. So a lot of points has been lost for Crack, and also mentioned the Belgian Grand Prix where he lost a lot of points. So there's so many points lost there for Crack. But it all matters now at this stage. Oh, what was going on there? I looked down and all of a sudden I just see a Williams almost spinning. Crack! Oh, it's lucky that Crack did not get a penalty there. If that was a fireplace grid penalty for Crack, that would have been so detrimental. I don't think you can do a lobby restart for contact collision. It's only for impeding or blocking, I must say. Mazel's P5, decent result for him, but we've still got 5 minutes left in qualifying. However, our second place man in the championship, Rapid, is currently 1.5 tenths up in the first sector, so good signs for him. Can he keep it up for the remainder of the lap as we head down into turn number 10? KXI currently puts his Red Bull up into 17th place as Rapid stands on the loud power once again, swinging into turn number 11, flat out corner, uses a bit of curve on the entry as well for rotation. This looks like a much better lap time for Rapid, but I still think he needs to find a bit more time in the final sector, and Nacho has admitted to blocking or making contact with Crack. It's so lucky that Crack didn't get a penalty there. That could have been so detrimental for the championship. A lot of controversy too, but here is Rapid coming towards the line now. What's it going to be for him? It's Pole with a 29.1, beats DC about 800 as well. So Rapid is currently in first place. We are waiting for the remaining drivers to come out on the circuit to see what they could do on their potential final laps. And Nacho will start down in P19, unfortunately for him, with that fireplace grip penalty unless he can find any more time in the Williams. Basil Fox, who currently replaces Bunnies as well. Bunnies' best result came at the Hungarian Grand Prix when it was wet at the time. I must say, look very strong in the wet too, did both Williams. But throughout the whole season, they've been lacking pace. Nacho has been collecting top 10s in the last few races as well. That P10 position is where he finishes most of the time. Here is the Alpha tie, but unfortunately he has invalidated his lap time. King Panda is currently 3 tenths up in the middle sector. This could put him into P6 or P5, depending if he can find more time in this final sector. So, crucially, he needs to join his teammate, but almost spins the car. And luckily he collects it, but his lap time is ruined after all that good work. And hopefully he has another set of softs waiting for him in the garage. It's so annoying. I know how it feels when you do a good lap time, and unfortunately the final corner just catches you out if you pick up the throttle a bit too early and you light up the rear tyres. The Dragler speed is currently 6 tenths down in the first sector. He's another one to play ACC as well. I think ACC became popular, well, it's always been popular, but I must say for the Cone community since December, if I remember correctly. It's a very strong game as well, and a lot of drivers have a lot of passion for that. I know a lot of drivers right now, or a lot of people in the Cone party, are playing ACC and trying to get new members as well. I do enjoy F1. It can be frustrating at times. It may not be an enjoyable game. You've got to put a lot of hours into this game to get very quick, and it can be very frustrating as well, demoralising. And here is Stevan then in the Alfa Romeo, who's currently a few hundreds up in the first sector. Majority of drivers are in the pit lane, so in his final stage of qualifying we are waiting for a few arrivals to be out on the circuit. But who is going to take pole? That is the main question. It's very tight there in the upper end of the field, and Stevan is currently 3.5 tenths up in the middle sector. This could put him into P5 or P6. So it looks like the Alfa Romeo driver is currently on a decent lap time so far. His teammate Jay Hartnell has won a Grand Prix back in the Singapore Grand Prix too. What a race win for him, because he wasn't on the podium at all during the race. And here is Stevan coming towards the line. What's it going to be? It's P3. So he managed to find a bit more lap time, and he puts his car on the second row ahead of India Jesus. And Polishman is currently going for a lap time too. His teammate is currently out there on the circuit. And let's see how the pressure gets to these drivers. DC's a 10th down the first sector. It looks like he's backed off, so probably made a mistake somewhere and had to bail out of his lap time. But we are in the final stages of qualifying, And let's see if Rapid can remain on pole position. Cole Paradox says, good luck boys, last one of the season. It is quite upsetting really. I really do enjoy commentating for Cohen since season 2 to season 10. It has gone downhill a bit recently, to admit. But hopefully back in season 11 we could come back with a banger too. Every league has its down point at some season. We've been consistent recently over the past few years since 2019 or 2020. But at some point it has a dip in the stage. India Jesus then. His final flying lap. What magic can he produce? We're about to find out. Both Mercedes are right behind him too to start their last lap with Glowstick and DC as we head down into turn number 1. He went a bit wide on his opening lap, but it looks like he got it sorted out this time. Decent exit through turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3. Could have used a bit more curb in turn 3 to get the extra rotation and try and use all the track. And now he's using half the track, half the road there, going down into turn number 4. Let's see how he takes it. Rotates the car really nice. The back end seems to stick with it. He's currently 700 up in the first sector. Not enough to dethrone Rapid. A bit of understeer pit up, go through turn 6 and turn 7 as we go through turn 8. A bit wide into turn 8. But squares it off on the throttle. Won't cost him too much, but those extra few hundreds are very critical. And a bit of a lock-up too, going down into turn number 9 as Steve Van has retired. Bazza Fox goes up into P2 with a 29.1. What a lap time for the Williams driver. In the background, I can see Glowstick, who's off the track there. And I think his lap time may have been ruined by that. It got a bit deep into turn 10. But India Jesus there, going through the middle sector. He's currently a few hundreds down. This is not good news for India Jesus. The point system is so small he can't afford to be down in P6. As we head down into the final 2 corners, is anything that India Jesus can gain in the final sector, anything at all. And we're about to find out now. Marshalls goes into P7. Here comes India Jesus across the line. It's pole! What a lap time, a 29.0 after being down. DC goes into P2. Rapid, a 10th up in the first sector. And you know, Crack goes on pole. It's a 29.0. These lap times are starting to tumble down now. And we'll see if Rapid can respond. He's currently a 10th up in the first sector. King Panda goes into P6. But now Rapid, after seeing Crack and India Jesus on pole, will their pressure got to him? Nice run in the curve there. And 600s up in the middle sector. A decent turn into towards turn 13 as well. The top 2 of the championship, first and second, DC and P3. And we've got Rapid now coming towards the final corner. After all the good work, can't afford to be thrown away. Here he is then, rounds the final corner. Is it going to be pole for him? He crossed the line now. And it's pole with a 29.8. What a lap time. The top 3 in the championship. First, second and third. This is going to get very tasty now. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds. And Basil Fox there, what a lap time in the Williams there after struggling in the last few races. So shout out to him. Nacho in P8 too. Well, good qualifying for Nacho. Both Williams and P5 and P8, but unfortunately Nacho has got a 5-place grid penalty for making contact with Crack. So he'll be started down in an unlucky P13. But ladies and gentlemen, in the desert, we've got a race on our hands. Rapid needs to be Rapid, Crack needs to have Crack, and Jesus needs to have Jesus on his side to win. As we head on towards the 27-lap race, who will take the victory? Who will take the championship? Game on. Here's a thing to look out for too. India Jesus has only used 2 sets of the soft compound tyres. Same with Steven as well. So it looks like they saved a set of softs. Maybe to start on like they did in the Netherlands Grand Prix, or use towards the end of the Grand Prix, just in case there's a late safety car which could benefit them later on in the race or early stages. We're about to find out. Join us back for the race. I'll take a short break from here. And it should be an absolute thriller in the desert. Well, just to reiterate, in the championship, Indy Jesus currently leads Rapid by 6 points. Further back is Crack, 14 points behind Indy Jesus. So very close between the top three. DC in P4, he's fighting with KXI to try and remain in P4 in the championship. Tobes in P6, King Panda in 7th, Stevan in 8th, Clerpiard 9th, Glowstick in 10th after, I think it was P13, after before the last race. Then obviously that win catapulted up the order to P10. J Hart now 11th, he scored a race win too, Dragon Speed in 12th, and Mazel's 13th after winning in Belgium. Yeah, I've actually forgot to mention that too. So Mazel's actually won the Belgian Grand Prix, and I think that was because of post-race penalties for Rapid. Rapid has suffered with a lot with a post-race penalty too. All the point there's been a lot of lost points for Indian Jesus, Rapid and Crack throughout the whole season. They've all had the ups and downs, sorry. Especially Crack as well, to be fair. There are the lights to signify the formation lap, and we're about to see what tyres people are starting for. So one soft runner, which is Clerpiard down in P18, going for a aggressive start, trying to make the overtakes happen. And Crack has gone on the hard compound tyres. So is Glowstick, Tobes, Leon, Manut's Itch, Polishman in 16th place. I see the benefit for Rapid is he's got his RP teammate in P6 because Crack doesn't have a teammate in this race, and India Jesus' teammate is out of P16. So I think Rapid's got an advantage in terms of having a teammate involved in a battle there. And Baz of Fox and King Panda together reminds me of last season too, with Harry Palmer fighting for the championship too. If I remember correctly, I think it was Baz of Fox who overtook Panda around the outside in China when it was a wet/dry track. What a race that was, I'll always remember that too. But the top three then to watch out for. Has India G's got the race pace? How good is he on the brakes as well? Because he's turned off ABS recently, but ABS can be a bit difficult. No ABS can be a bit difficult, especially down into these two corners here. It's so easy to snatch up a rear brake. I think you need the brake bias on 56 or 57. I'm not quite sure what brake bias I run here because I haven't done this race for a long time. All I remember when I drove this race is a puncher, so bad memories for me, and a broken gearbox too to go with it. Good old days when I was able to break my gearboxes during league racing. DC is still searching for his first win of the season. He don't care about the championship. He's going for the race of the season. His first race win of the season. Got taken away at the Singapore Grand Prix after staying out on all the tyres, where the Inters or the dries were the better the stage. I think they were on the Inter tyres, where the rest of them were on the soft compound tyres as it dried up with the late safety car came out, caused by toes, if I remember correctly. Safety cars could play a huge factor towards these people's races as well, so we'll see where the pendulum swings during this race. It should be an easy one stop, but now in TS3 with a bunch of safety cars, it could be a 2 or 3 stop. Look at that, the Red Bull spinning in the background. Too early to be doing donuts. I know KXI said he could be doing donuts, but all the drivers are lined up on the grid as Basil Fox going around the outside. Doesn't know he could go through them, but I think he compromised. Yeah, he has. By doing that, he's compromised this line going to the box. I don't think he knew they could go through him when they're on the grid. I think somebody in the background's pointed to the right hand side. I'm not quite sure who that is. Is that a Red Bull rear wing? It doesn't matter because the race is about to start then. The duel in the desert begins. The top three in the championship. The race is about to begin. Who is going to come out top in the desert? We're about to find out as the lights go out for the final race of the season. Rapid gets a decent start, leaving Crack fighting with India Jesus. If you head down into turn number 1, Rapid still takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and let's see what happens down here. Look at India Jesus squeezing Crack as we go through turn 2 and now turn 3. Crack remains in P2, he's on the hard compound tyres, so he will struggle at this stage of the Grand Prix. The mediums are fresher. Basil Fox looking to pounce on India Jesus. There is the Williams too. There's the Alpine as Basil Fox has to take evasive action there, goes out wide, allow King Panda through. This is very bad news for India Jesus because he got an Alpine right behind him, not where he wants to be whatsoever. and we've got Stevan up into P6. DC has lost 3 positions. He's down into P7. I think they went 3 abreast down there, and unfortunately it didn't work out, as we can see a few cars squabbling for position. Down into turn 8 we go, and there's a Red Bull and a bit of a lag as well from Nacho. And now coming out the corner, going into turn number 9 and turn 10. Mazels has had a spin, I presume. He's down into last place and detached from this pack already as the midfield mayhem continues between, look at this then, let's have a look. Indian Jesus versus Crack. Indian Jesus puts his car into P2. A very critical move now, because he's got past the Harvener, and at this stage of the Grand Prix, the Harvener will hold him up. So it's very crucial to stick with Rapid if he can. But the gap is 1.7. He needs to close that gap down before the DRS enables, because if that don't happen, it's going to be very hard to catch up with no DRS, and considering the DRS is powerful around here, 3 DRS zones around this track as well. What's going on in this midfield then? A few squabbling for positions. DC trying to overtake Stevan, but gets out of shape in the final corner with Jay Hartnell on his tail. And here's Crack then. His timing thing has been glitched, but sorted itself out. And he's right there to pounce on the Indian Jesus. Further in the background, the Alfa Romeo Jay Hartnell go down the inside. No, he backs out of it. He's going around the outside into turn 1. Let's see if he can make this move stick. And obviously the first race of the season, this team will be called Stake as well. A bit of a legal name to be called, especially at countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain. They don't allow gambling. And here we are, down the inside goes the Haas of Aizen. And Aizen hasn't returned. There he is in P9. It's been a long time since I've seen him, and he's currently in P9. Inside the top 10 on his return then, fighting with Jay Hartnell. Doesn't send one up the inside, thinks wisely about it. But unfortunately the timing things are glitched. As falling down the order goes Nacho, down into P15. Side by side action between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes in front of us. That's Polishman making a move on glow stick, and you can see that the back in the car sliding. That's what I mean by the ABS. It's so easy to snatch the rear brake going down into the double left-hander. You're essentially turning the brake at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. I can only drive but not describe. And here comes Polishman fighting with Leon then, as we go wheel to wheel, coming out of turn 11, going into turn 12. Don't really see many people go side by side through here. I think I remember a massive pileup one time in Cone around this track, at a particular part of the track too, in turn 11 and turn 12. But the gap between Indian Jesus and Rapid is 1.6, and the DRS will be enabled then. Oh, you can see Glowstick getting forced off the track there. Last week's race winner in P13, but the DRS has been enabled. Indian Jesus has not been able to get in the DRS of Rapid, and he's going to be in the DRS train now for the rest of the race with these guys behind. Crack of the hardcore power tyres looking to go for a long stint on those tyres. Down the inside goes the Red Bull on Polishman. He puts himself back up into P11, and Polishman now and Leon are still scrapping away. That was a lovely helicopter cam, but had to switch towards these guys to see what they're doing. Glowstick still involved as well. Down the inside goes Leon on Polishman again. Glowstick looking to get involved. Leon losing the back end of the car. Allows Glowstick, allows the Haas of Clear PR to go through. He's fallen down into P40, maybe 15 now, with Nacho coming along his inside. As we head down into turn 8, there's his Red Bull teammate of KXI, who won the first race of the season. He's currently down in P16, is the Red Bull driver. He's currently P5 in the championship too. Look, fighting with DC in the championship for P4. But it looks like he's going towards DC's way so far. And both Alpha Tauros getting out of shape as well. Mazels has caught up to this pack. Thanks to the squabbling going on. Down the inside goes Glowstick into turn 11. We saw Kvyat and Giovinazzi crash through there. And Glowstick then not able to overtake. He's got the Haas alongside him. Around the outside he goes. Is Clear Pure on the soft compound tyres as well. Tried to make up moves after a disappointing qualifying session. Indian Jesus is almost in the 1 second range of DRS. He's only 3/10 away. But you'll be hoping that Crack doesn't fight him too much, which he isn't. Crack's just following the DRS train, being very smart about this tactical play. And Indian Jesus then maybe using a lot of ERS to try and get himself back inside that DRS range. Here comes DC overtaking the Alfa Romeo. Here comes his teammate though, Jay Hartnell, looking to make a move. Lovely camera angles too. Glowstick's overtaking Punishment once again. Up into P11 he goes. Better contact too for good measure, but Crack is right alongside Indian Jesus and doesn't look to go for a move as Panda almost makes contact with him. Got to be very patient because Rapid needs Panda in this race. They can't afford to make contact, especially with the championship leader too. We all know what happens if King Panda takes out a championship contender with a lot of controversy as well. Crashgate, but hopefully that won't happen. Polishman and Glowstick are still fighting. Oh, Polishman lost the rear end, but luckily he saved it and stays in P12 for the time being. So India Jesus then not able to get in the 1 second range of DRS under pressure from Crack on the last lap. Crack had to back out, then he was under pressure himself from Panda behind. And he's still got Basil Fox following as well. The Haas of Claire PR on those soft compound tyres losing grip out of turn 10. Slots in now into P14. Yeah, soft compound tyres at this stage of the Grand Prix not really working for him. He started down in P18, so there's the loss gained and loss gained. Look at this, Panda looking to make a move on Crack, but not down the inside as the final corner. Not really a conventional overtaking place. You want to wait for the DRS, of course. Don't want to go for any silly rash moves, especially in a championship fight for the constructors and helping your teammate. And here comes Rapid, and here comes Crack. There we are, 3 abreast down into turn 1. Crack takes on India Jesus, and let's see what happens down here. India Jesus trying to stick around the outside, has the inside line into turn 2. They go wheel to wheel. India Jesus have better grip on those medium compound tyres, and now Panda might make it 3 abreast. He is actually. Oh, he's got squeezed. You know what? I thought they'll make contact and all 3 of them would go out, but luckily they didn't. India Jesus though still remains in P2 despite being under massive pressure from the guys behind, and Panda is putting a lot of pressure. There he is around the outside, now has the inside line. What a great move, and Crack, did he get forced off the track? I'm not quite sure, I didn't really see from the camera footage we had, but he's fallen down into P5 and now giving up to place towards Bazza Fox. But Crack is still on those hard compound tyres, remember. He's going towards a long stint, is the McLaren driver, so he shouldn't be too frustrated that he's losing places. But Panda, I think he's been fair and aggressive, and now he's into P3. This is working really well for the Alpine team, and DC is putting pressure on Steven as well for P6. Both Alfa Romeos putting DC in a sandwich. Unfortunately, we can't call them Alfa Romeos no more towards next season in Cone. They'll be called Stake, and Glowstick is ahead of Claire PR. Those guys have been scrapping away. And you can see LT Crack is right behind Basil Fox as well. Basil Fox could be in a chance of a podium. As we head down the long straight then. In the background we can see a Haas versus the Ferrari. And that's Aizen overtaking Tobes as we head down into turn 1. The Mercedes of DC is up the inside. And here comes Crack on Basil. Into turn 1 we go. Lovely move. But Basil Fox not willing to give up. Is still there. Down the inside he goes. Wheel to wheel. But Crack has the racing line. And he puts his McLaren into P4. This is lovely stuff indeed from the guys there. Battles everywhere. This is what I love about this track as well. And Nacho's gone for a spin in the Williams. I did see them going 3 abreast. But the battle for P2 to P5 is intensifying as well. And Panda scribbling on the exit there. Could this race swing towards Crack's hands later on in this race as well? We know he's on the hard compound tyres going for a long stint. And once these medium runners are out of the way, he can continue that stint and go on the mediums later on. But that depends if a safety car don't come out at the wrong time as well. Claire PR has gone for a spin. But here we are, they're going down into turn 11. I love this track, especially in the first sector. You could go wheel to wheel all the way down into turn 8. In circumstances, you do see some people making contact. I think I remember in tier 1 as well, or a few seasons ago where people made contact. I think it was tier 3 as well. And I'm not quite sure who the drivers were, but they made contact. I think it was KXI at one point. George Hargreaves was involved in that too. Yeah, I think it was George Hargreaves and KXI who made potential contact going into turn 6 and turn 7, tried to win the Grand Prix. You can see Indian Jesus is derated. How is Rapid doing on his ERS? Not too bad, considering he's not got any DRS in front of him to try and help him save that battery. But most importantly, he's still keeping Indian Jesus out of the DRS range. Nothing Indian Jesus can do at this stage. Just going to focus on the guys behind now. Hope something miracle happens later on. Maybe try and go for an undercut. Polishman is up to P11, but Glowstick not willing to back off whatsoever. And the Polish driver is ahead. And Aizen and Tobes having their own scrap for P9. Aizen was in a Ferrari, I think, a few seasons ago. I don't know who to keep it out here. I want to keep it out for the top 2. I want to keep it out the top 5 throughout the whole race, but obviously there's 19 drivers here. As Polishman and Glowstick are still faster away, but actually Indian Jesus has got himself in DRS. And he has as well in the 3rd DRS zone. Oh, the Williams of Basil Fox going out wide into turn 9 and turn 10. A very easy place, but KXI has spun. Where has he spun if I can find him? You would have thought I've been used to be these graphics by now, but that's not the case. As Nacho has a slide too, and King Panda has actually been dropped out of the DRS range of Indian Jesus. So Indian Jesus is looking to have good pace now. Maybe struggled in the early stages, but he has used a lot of his ERS for good measure too. And all of a sudden, Rapid finds himself Indian Jesus right behind. The gap is only 6 points in the championship. And if it stays like this, they could be tying towards the end of the race. If Rapid wins, Indian Jesus and P2, they would draw. But obviously, there can be only one champion. So Rapid needs Indian Jesus to finish in third or below. I'm not quite sure how the point system or how it all works in terms of championship by drawing. Is it driver who finishes the last race first wins the championship? I'm not quite sure. I'll leave it down to the stewards, but I need somebody in the sidelines to help me on this one. Maybe the code admins if they are watching or not. But Indian Jesus putting massive pressure now on Rapid, so Rapid's advantage is now dissipated, and all of a sudden he's got the Aston Martin of Indian Jesus right behind too, so this could get very interesting indeed. Could Rapid back off a bit? Oh, you can see Indian Jesus sliding there. Could Rapid back off a tiny bit in this middle sector to give Panda the DRS to stay in this train? Because Panda has to stay in this DRS train as well to keep pressure on Indian Jesus. And Crack's doing well on those hardcore power tyres too. Both Alfa Romeos running the P7 and P8 doing a good job so far. As we head through down into turn number 11. And Rapid's still not able to get inside that DRS range. Maybe he could just try and push a bit harder, brake later, try and carry more speed through the corner. But he's got Crack right behind. Maybe let Crack go to put pressure on Indian Jesus. Who knows? But here we are then, Indian Jesus putting pressure on Rapid. And let's see if we'll overtake him down into turn 1. These two had a great battle, the Dutch GP, but unfortunately they both started the soft compound tyres and they found themselves at a disadvantage later on as the tyres were dead and the safety car came out too, and they both made contact. I believe it was Rapid who made contact with Indian Jesus, gave him damage. In the pit lane goes Stevan, and here comes Indian Jesus to take the lead of the Grand Prix as we head down to turn 1. A lock up there on the entry. Rapid though trying to go alongside, but he knows he has the DRS for the next zone. And he had a bit of a wobble on going out the corner too. King Panda is back in DRS range now. So Stefan's on the soft compound tyre. Wow, that's an optimistic strategy. What tyre did he start on? Was it medium? I think it was. So he's going medium, soft, medium? I'm not quite sure. Glowstick picks up a 3-second time penalty. As those two are still together on track. They can't leave each other alone. Can Glowstick and Polishman currently inside the top 10 for the time being, as Stefan's going for an aggressive strategy. A strategy I've not really seen before. Mediums to softs, but those softs can't go to the end obviously. I think in the older games it was a two-sort strategy if I remember correctly around here, and Bahrain is Glowstick there on the curb. I think I remember back in 2008 when we saw Lewis Hamilton on the curb and crashed into the barriers at that time. Be very careful as well. So that's a very interesting strategy for Stevan, going on soft compound tyres, going for a shorter stint. But the top 5 are back in DRS range contention, with Indian Jesus leading the pack away, with Glowstick once again fighting. The Aston Martin puts himself up into P10, and these guys will be fighting all day long. But the main focus is on the other Aston Martin driver, currently in a battle for the championship. With 20 laps left to go in this race, anything could happen. But the disadvantage Indian Jesus has, he's got two teammates right behind, obviously working together, as in the pit lane goes Jay Hart in the background. So we've got some interesting strategy calls being made. I think you can do a one-stop around here, but if I remember correctly in the olden games, it was a two-stop around Bahrain, like Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Mexico, and probably Hungary too. But the way to go, the norm, is the one-stop around nearly every single circuit. Here we are on board with Indian Jesus. It looked like he was at a disadvantage at the start of the race, but the pendulum looks like he's swinging back his way. Managed to find some pace after being outside the DRS range. But Rapid, he can just sit behind Indian Jesus. He knows he's got King Panda behind, so he knows he will be under threat from King Panda. What he can try and do is save a bit of battery up later on for the race as well. Not try and attack Indian Jesus. Just try and sit there, save some battery, and attack him later on during the Grand Prix too. So far, I think Rapid is in a good position. But what about Crack later on in this race? What can he do with P4 as well? We know he's going from hard to medium, so he'll have the faster tyre towards the end of the Grand Prix. and he's sticking with this DRS train too on those hard compound tyres, which is paying dividends for him. And Dragon Speed is now up to P10. Great drive from Dragon Speed considering his last results where he's been outside the top 10 quite a lot. I know he's been driving on ACC recently, but he's doing a good job here in Ferrari. Both Ferraris doing a good job as well in P7 and P10 as we head on the straight once again. Lap 11 out of 29. DC a bit detached in P6, qualified in P4, but unfortunately lost a few positions at the start of the Grand Prix. Maybe got swallowed up there too and sandwiched. Had to fight with both Alfa Romeos, who are doing an interesting strategy, it must be said. Jay Hartnell's pitted onto a brand new set of medium tyres, so I think he might be going medium. Glowstick is on. Oh, look at this in the background. That's Crack versus Panda. A bit of contact too for good measure, but Crack tried to go around the outside, but Panda said no. And Aizen is ahead of Tobes. He puts himself up into P7. There, they're going side by side out of turn 4 now. Let's see who gets out top in this battle. A bit of a lonely race for these two. The guys ahead are too far away, the guys behind are far away too. So we've got some interesting strategy calls going on. Glowstick may be pitting to get out of the DRS train. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's also going for a short stint on those soft compound tyres. But Panda, crucially, still in the DRS range of the top two. And Crack, any chance he'll get with Panda being outside the DRS, he probably pounce on him and try and split both Alpines up. But Rapid desperately needs Panda as a rear gunner to stop Crack and Basil Fox from fighting him and trying to stop his progress towards Indian Jesus. Who would you say has the advantage in this Grand Prix? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. As we head down into the final corner, as we head onto lap 12 out of 29, there's yellow flags in the middle sector. That's a Red Bull, and I think it's Leon who's gone for a spin. And no safety cars. I think a safety car would ruin Crack's strategy so far. Maybe lap 17, 18, where he prefers a safety car, but not now. And here we are then with the top 5 in this DRS train, all still fighting away for P1. And look at this, Panda is under pressure from Crack. Here we are, wheel to wheel as we go down into turn 4. Is Crack able to split up both Alpines? I think he will, you know, and he's up the inside into turn 4 we go. He's up into P3 and he's split both Alpines up. Great move indeed. Can he pursue the top 2? I think his strategy is going his way, considering if there's not a safety car coming out to try and stop his strategy from working out. As we head now into the double left-hander we go. I think Crack's tyres will be better than the top 2 as well, so we'll have that tyre advantage now during this stint, this phase of the race. But Rapid still in P2, trying to save some ERS to try and fight Indian Jesus later on. He's got 20% more ERS than Indian Jesus. And Jesus managed to find some more pace after it looked like he was struggling in the first opening laps of the Grand Prix. Steve Van's right behind Dragon on speed. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's up into P10 now, overtaking the Ferrari driver. Next target is Polishman on those hard compound tyres. But both Alfa Romeos have taken a very interesting route to this race. So is Glowstick down in P17, opted to go for a 2-stop, and I think Steve Van will be very happy that Polishman made a mistake and doesn't get held behind much longer. Will Dragon Speed try and pounce on the Aston Martin, but in the pit lane goes Rapid then. Crucial stage this Grand Prix. Is going for an undercut. He's pulling the trigger first, and we're going on those hard compound tyres then. He has to be a very smooth pit stop. Can he get ahead of that train? Coming towards the final corner, he needs to get ahead of the train, otherwise we held up dramatically in this race. There is the train from P9 all the way down to P13. Can he get ahead of it? Here comes the pack, and where is Rapid going to rejoin? Here he is out of the pit lane, and he's not able to get ahead of the train, and both Alpha Towers are fighting. Here comes Polishman up the inside into turn 1, but unable to take the move. And King Panda is up into P2. It has re-overtaken Crack once again. And a Red Bull has spun. That's Leon. Oh, a safety car's been deployed. And this could ruin Rapid strategy in P10. I don't think he wishes for a safety car. I think it's okay. He might rejoin back in P2. But the safety cars came out. And let's see how it all affects these drivers' races. It's where Jack Aitken crashed too at 2020 Sakir Grand Prix when George Russell replaced Hamilton, Pietro Fittipaldi replaced Grosjean, and Jack Aitken replaced Russell in the Williams. I think Leon might have upset some drivers about that safety car, maybe helping the likes of Steve Van too on those soft compound tyres. If he has another set of mediums to go on to, he could go towards that towards the end of the Grand Prix. But has this had a massive impact on Rapid's race? Worst time, I think. He won't be able to do the undercut. And these guys might get ahead of him in the pit lane too. And Rapid, what will Crack do as well in P3? Rapid is Panda trying to slow down Crack? They go wheel to wheel in the pit lane, and Crack, is he going to get ahead? They go wheel to wheel, and Panda gets a 5-second time penalty as they try to race in the pit lane. And this is all tactics for the championship too. Panda on the hards and Crack on the mediums. India Jesus will go on the mediums too, on the hards too, sorry. But where is Rapid going to rejoin in all of this? And this, unfortunately for Rapid, the worst possible scenario for him in P10. This safety car hasn't benefited him whatsoever. And he'll find himself rejoining into P4 in this Grand Prix. King Panda now has to put pressure on India Jesus. He has to fully attack him. Try and back him towards Rapid. And Basil Fox is well pitted along with Rapid too. So he stays in P5. But Rapid strategy hasn't worked out so far for trying to go for the undercut. But so got taken completely away by the safety car. Now the safety car has came out. We'll take a short break. We're back with you when the safety car ends. This should be an interesting one. I think the safety car should be coming in towards the end of this lap with KXI in the background catching up too. So we're going to get underway for the second part of this race and let's see what it has to bring us. India Jesus currently leads. IoT Crack! Wow! Has got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So Panda and Crack, have I missed something here? Have both got 5-second time penalties for ignoring yellow flags. How did he get that though? Oh, I see. Panda and Crack switching positions, but why? This could be massive controversy in the championship too towards the end of the Grand Prix. Crack was ahead of Panda, but for some reason Panda seemed to be ahead of Crack at one stage with an illegal overtake. The game might be bugged. In fact, Panda was in second place, then Crack overtook him. It may be down at turn 10 and turn 11, that double left-hander. 9 at turn 10, sorry. Let's have a look. Did one of them go off the track? I'm not quite sure how it happened, you know. It looked like Crack made contact with Indian Jesus down into the double left-hander. But here we are racing once again, and Panda did not get a good restart. He's left with ILT Crack, and here comes Rapid then, going 3 abreast. The 2 in the championship, there they are, 3 abreast. Panda, Crack and Rapid going down into turn 1 we go. And looked like the McLaren driver was late on the brakes there. Both Alpines making contact, but I would have thought Panda would have let Crack go, Rapid go, sorry. Quite unusual. Now he lets him go and he puts himself up into P3. We're going to make sure he doesn't be overtaken by Basil Fox. He makes contact with him for sure. But here comes Crack going wheel to wheel with Indian Jesus, but not able to go alongside and overtake him down into turn 6 and turn 7. He's on those fresher medium compound tyres, so with the faster tyres at this stage of the grab, maybe pitted earlier than he would have wanted due to that safety car timing. So we're going to make those tyres work towards the end of the Grand Prix. 13 laps shouldn't be too much, but obviously the hard compound tyres will probably be a bit better. Oh, contact between Crack and Rapid. Maybe get a bit desperate, these boys are. But once again, here comes Crack right behind Indian Jesus as we head down into turn 10. Remember, the most consistent out of these guys wins the championship. Going to be very calm, very consistent, choose your right moments at the right time. Obviously, it's the heat of the moment thing. When you're racing, it's easier said than done. Hindsight is a lovely thing as well. But here's Crack right behind Indian Jesus, but not going to go for an overtake just yet. He'll probably wait down into turn 1 as we exit the final corner to round off lap 16 onto 17 then. And Crack will overtake Indian Jesus and put himself up into P1. As it stands, Indian Jesus will still win the championship because he's ahead of Rapid. So I think his focus will be shifted towards Rapid rather than Crack. He can let Crack go as we head down into turn 1 then. We've got Tobes with the inside, we've got Mercedes and Alfa Romeo fighting there in the midfield. And the Polishman is ahead of Steven as well after going onto that 2-stop strategy, which has worked I think, but lost a few positions. As we go down into turn 4 we go with Polishman up the inside of Tobes. Made the move stick and he puts his Aston Martin into P7 for the time being. Crack has pulled away now, almost just outside the DRS range momentarily. And Stevan hits the back of the Ferrari, and twice he's done that too. The main thing for Rapid, he has to finish in first place, and Indian Jesus has to finish third. So I don't know how we can work this one because Crack will be very quick at this stage of the Grand Prix on those medium compound tyres. I don't even think it's possible at all because we know Crack has got a penalty towards the end of the Grand Prix if he doesn't make a pit stop. So it looks like Crack will be in a bit of trouble. I think India Jesus has a big shot at winning this championship because Panda has got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Crack's got a penalty too. So realistically, what can Rapid do? If he finishes ahead of India Jesus, India Jesus needs to be put further behind by about 2 or 3 places in order to win the championship. So it could be very difficult as DRS has been enabled then. Crack's pulled away, 1.3 second gap as Rapid is right behind Indian Jesus. As we go down into turn 1, no DRS on this straight, but will be activated for the next straight. As Glowstick and Mazzles then having another fight for P12. Let's see how those two get on as Toes picked up a 2-second time penalty. Mazzle's ahead of Glowstick for the time being on those hard compound tyres. Rapid's not able to go for a move on Indian Jesus just yet with Panda right behind. But I'm not quite sure why they were racing the pit lane like that, to be honest with you. Understandable, but at the same time, it's very risky and it's cost him as well with a 5-second time penalty. And he can't get that removed because it's a speeding penalty too. So he'll go to the end on these tyres and we'll have to serve that 5 seconds once he crosses the line. So with ILT Crack, maybe Crack can get a penalty removed, I'm not quite sure, but I know Panda can't because it's a legitimate 5-second time penalty as Rapid then puts in pressure on India Jesus once again. What's Rapid going to do to make India Jesus be under massive pressure? He needs help from the others really, does Rapid, Basil Fox, DC as well. He needs help from those guys if Rapid wants a chance to win the Grand Prix or win the championship. But so far, India Jesus looks like he's in a comfortable position so far. And you can see Kang Panda all over the back of him. But obviously not going to make a move. As we exit the final corner then, with Crack leading the Grand Prix, heading on to lap 19 with 10 laps left to go in this race. Both Alpines are going to switch positions. So does Rapid think that Panda's quicker? As we head down into turn 1, what's Panda going to do? Be very careful not to wipe him out, because that would definitely be very controversial towards in the Grand Prix. But Rapid then has given track position towards Panda, who's not in the championship fight. He believes his teammate's quicker at this stage of the Grand Prix, putting pressure on India Jesus. Maybe they're both going to have a go at him, try and put him under massive pressure. As Panda there is not able to get past India Jesus. Essentially, Panda's got nothing to lose now. He's just going to race his heart out. Where India Jesus has everything to lose. And we saw back at the Dutch Grand Prix, we saw Rapid and India Jesus make contact going down into turn number 8. And here we are then, into this double left-hander we go. Panda putting Jesus under massive pressure. If both Alpines get ahead of India Jesus, and here he is then, Panda is going to make a move on India Jesus and puts himself up into P2. But that's going to give DRS towards India Jesus down the long straight, the main straight. So it might be a bit difficult for Rapid to get past, considering the DRS that India Jesus might have as well on the straight. Crack's checked out so far, but in order to win this Grand Prix, he needs to pull away by 5 seconds. And the more these guys scrap, the more likely it could be actually. Look at these guys all in one big DRS train. Could be very chaotic as well. Both Alpines putting the Aston Martin in a baguette sandwich. Here we are then. Look at Basil Fox in P5. Might be pouncing though. Looks like someone's made contact at the final corner. As we head down into turn 1. And let's see how it all unfolds. Rapid is ahead of Crack now. Oh, contact's made and Panda spun. And Panda made contact with Basil Fox as well. There's a bit more contact further down the field as well. The Ferrari spun. The Red Bull's lost his wing. Major contacts going on in this midfield here. Basil Fox going out wide too. And a VSC has been deployed to slow things down. So I'm not quite sure what's on there. But Rapid now does not have his teammate for company. And this is what I mean when I say both Alpines have big chances of major opportunities. Especially in Singapore. The Dutch Grand Prix as well. The Monza Grand Prix. All these points wasted due to small silly mistakes like these. And India Jesus will look back and think... will be thinking about the championship, and he'll be very happy that these mistakes have been costly for Alpine as well, because both Alpines in the last few races have had a good shot at being a 1-2 or 1-3. But unfortunately, these little mistakes happen for these guys. Inexperience maybe. This is tier 3, so these guys are still learning. And the AlphaTauri gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. He was on course for a podium too until he took out DC in the last lap. Apologies about that, but here we are then, into the final corner. What's Rapid going to do then? He has no longer got his teammate in the equation to help him to put India Jesus down the order. And there's Polishman in the background too in P5. He has got a penalty to his name as well, but here comes Rapid then. He overtakes India Jesus once again, and he puts his Alpine into P2. And let's see then, the gap is 2.7 between Crack and Rapid, so not able to get the 5 second gap he needs, but maybe get that 5 second time penalty removed. We don't know if it was a BS penalty for ILT Crack. It was a very weird penalty, as Leo's retired in the pit lane then, so he won't be doing the donuts like he promised. But the gap is 3 seconds then, as those two continue to squabble. And further down the field we can see Mercedes and DC defending Polishman, and Polishman, the nice old switcheroo, takes P4 away, but not just yet though, because DC is still there alongside him, and he remains in P4 for the time being then. DC is still looking to get his first win of the season after scoring loads of podiums. And Polishman's still right behind Mercedes with Toves, and looking in the background too. Further up we can see Rapid and India Jesus still going at it for P2 and P3. Lap 21 out of 29 then, with 8 laps to go in this race. Crack leads by about 2.5, and further behind we can still see them fighting. India Jesus and Polishman, Polishman and DC. Looks like they were playing DRS chicken there for a bit. One of them looked like he backed out the throttle, but Polishman's still down the inside. And DC is headed off as the pit lane. He's lost his end plate. So any chance of winning the Grand Prix is over. Here comes India Jesus of Rapid and puts himself back up into P2. But further behind, look at this scrap going on for P4 here. Or P3 now, I think it is. Look at this, 3 abreast. As you can see, the Williams bounce over the curb. Punishment's in the sandwich. And here comes Nacho. Oh, better contact too. And here comes Stevan too. That's Basil Fox, sorry. As he goes 3 abreast once again, going down into turn 4. And the Alfa Romeo swoops around the outside to take P4. I believe it was P7 at the start of the straight. 3 positions gained in 1 there after DC's expense. It's a shame for DC because he had a good season until the Singapore Grand Prix. After Singapore, things just went downhill for him. And looked like he never really got going after that either. Never really could pick up the momentum or the pace he had after that Grand Prix too. As always, Season 11, which will come in the F1 24 game as Cohen announced. It's a shame though, because I wish these seasons could continue after this season's ended, but obviously we need to make a few readjustments and put some new implement some new ideas into this league. And Minotich has retired in the pit lane then. So both AlphaTauris down in P17 and in P18 won't be scoring any points at all. A separated race, really. Not what we used to see here, but Crack still leads by about 2.5 second gap. Will his medium tyres start to fade away towards the end? Will Rapid and Indy Jesus able to catch? I'm not quite sure, but here's Indy Jesus right to the back of Rapid again, but not able to make a move. And here comes the Williams of Basil Fox up the inside. Remember what happened to Basil Fox? He made contact with King Panda and put him down the order too. Loads of squabbles going on track with Steve, and then with the DRS back on the Williams driver once again. He goes up into P4 ahead of Panda. And nothing dramatic happening just yet like I thought it'd be, as Mazel sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on those soft compound tyres he has, as Glowstick and Tobes are now fighting for P7 as we go down into turn number 8 we go. Glowstick obviously doing that 2-shot strategy from pitting from medium, soft, medium I think it was. Same with Stevan too. Going for a different route compared to probably trying to get out of the DRS trade too. But both Alfa Romeos look like they're having decent pace so far in P4 and P9. This is great as well for both Alfa Romeos. But quite far away from the podium is Stevan after these guys continuously squabbling in unconventional overtaking places like these. Into these corners have cost him a lot of time too. Probably needs to work on a bit of a racecraft these guys do to try and make sure they do lose too much time to their rivals. But the gap is starting to close down now between Rapid and Crack. The gap was about 2.6, now it's 2.2. So it looks like the hardcore power tyres are starting to favour Indy Jesus and Rapid. Both of course haven't got any penalties. We saw contact between the two back at the Dutch Grand Prix. Hopefully we don't see any contact between those two this time, as Basil Fox up into P4 again, and down the inside goes Glowstick. Bounce over the curb like Basil Fox did, and tries to go around the outside, bit of contact made too for good measure, and they get out of the corner unscathed. And Stevan stays behind the Williams driver for the time being, with Glowstick continuously pounding Indian punishment. These two haven't left each other alone at all race. They've been glued together throughout the entirety of this race, and they go wheels. Oh, contact is made. Like we saw, I think a few seasons ago, with George Hargreaves getting spun around at that particular part of the track, in the Aston Martin too, if I remember correctly. Should Glowstick leave enough room? It's a very tight corner there. Maybe Glowstick thought he had the race in line and thought it was his. Maybe should have left a bit more room for punishment. Maybe should have backed out of it, who knows. But now they've been separated, those two. The gap is starting to come down slowly but surely between the top two of Crack and Rapid now. So it looks like the juice on those medium compound tyres is starting to fade away ever so slightly, and lap by lap those two will be putting pressure soon on ILT Crack. I'm not quite sure if the penalty can be removed for Crack under that safety car. If it is, we'll see how it affects the championship, but the points deficit between P1 and P3 is 10 points, and Crack is 40 points away. So either way, Indy Jesus will win this Grand Prix, will win this championship if he stays like this, despite being behind the two. Maybe if Rapid was a bit more patient back in the Netherlands, trying to plan his overtakes, KXI is up into P8 ahead of Jay Hart. I think he spun early in the Grand Prix too. Did KXI. He's back there up into P8 now. Is the Red Bull driver. And the Jesus right behind Rapid again. Hopefully it doesn't get too messy in the last few laps of this Grand Prix between the two. Because in all honesty, there's nothing Rapid could do to win this championship unless Indy Jesus crashes out or makes a mistake, which is not going to happen, I don't think, considering the way Indy Jesus drove throughout the entirety of the season. After Saudi Arabia, Indy Jesus has been on form and looked in good shape ever since then. Obviously, in the first race of the season, I think he got taken out by somebody and he collected his own teammate as well and had to retire from that race. But after that, he won the Grand Prix in Hungary, he won in France, had a few races vacant too. He won at the Portimao Grand Prix too, and he got a bit messy in the last few races as well. We're seeing probably the wrong strategy in Singapore, but nothing he could do about that one. Then obviously we saw the Dutch Grand Prix where he went on the wrong strategy call, and Glowstick ended up the win in the Grand Prix. And also India Juice hasn't appeared in these in some of these Grand Prix too. He's not been here 100% either, so. But here he is then, right behind Rapid as we head down into turn 1. He will be able to make the overtake. Yeah, maybe he's just waiting for the last few laps of this Grand Prix to pounce his attack. But in 3 laps time, you can see his championship started to show. Or he's going to make sure he doesn't have to make contact with Rapid. There's no need to make contact. Obviously, he wants to finish ahead of him on track, but make sure he does it at the right time in the right place. Not going side by side where he needs to be. And Rapid will have to accept second or third place in this Grand Prix too. The gap's extended, you know. The gap was 2.0, now it's 3 seconds towards Crack. So Crack has found some pace somewhere on this lap. Not quite sure if these two had made a mistake or not. The gap was starting to close down, and all of a sudden it went to 3 seconds, and they lost a second already out of those two. But if Crack's penalty does get removed, and if he does win this Grand Prix, Indian Jesus will still win the championship. But it's looking good so far from the Aston Martin. Obviously he knows he doesn't have to make any sort of big risk. He doesn't have to send up the inside anywhere. He could finish behind these two if he wants to, but obviously he's a racer, he'll go for it on track. And here we are then on the main straight with DRS enabled, but Indian Jesus starts to pounce on the Alpine. We're about to find out. Yes, he does. He pulls out the slipstream and goes to the right side, and he overtakes Rapid for P2. No safety car can influence this race either, so no late safety car can change things either, like we saw the Netherlands Grand Prix. And Jay Hart now puts his car up into P8 ahead of KXI. I think he's defending from the Red Bull driver, putting pressure on the stake team. Rapid will have to accept being P2 or P3 in this race. There's nothing he can do whatsoever to win this championship. The only thing he can wish for is India Jesus retiring from this Grand Prix after spinning or whatever, but there's not going to happen, unfortunately for him. Overall, all 3 of them have done a great job this season. All 3 of them have lost a lot of points altogether this season too. They all had their own mistakes. Especially, well, Cracks. If it wasn't for Crack's internet in the Belgian Grand Prix, he could have won the championship, but unfortunately you gotta have all the right sort of connections in this race. The consistency, the internet connection too, the right strategies, planning your overtakes at the right time. All that combination will help you win the championship. Mazzles has spun out of turn 4, lost his wing. No safety car will be deployed, I think. It's too late for a safety car, so we won't see the last lap dashes. But here he is, Crack, currently in the Grand Prix. He's had some mighty pace this season. Leclerc PR's retired too. I don't think a safety car would be out. No, it won't be. Too late for a safety car. But we're heading on to lap 28 out of 29. Crack could win this Grand Prix if he gets that 5-second time penalty removed. Here is the top 2 in the championship, India Jesus and Rapid. Had amazing fights this season, but came into contact a few times as well along the season. The battle for P4 still continues. Basil Fox still holding in there with Stevan in P5. Basil Fox returned to League Racing 2, I think, back at the Belgian Grand Prix, when he said he had a nose trimmer. Oh, I thought Stevan was late to the brakes there, will go up the inside or smash to the back of the Williams, but thankfully not. And King Panda's well down in P10 will have to serve his penalty after the race. Lots of points have been lost for Alpine this season due to silly little errors like pit lane penalties too. Even in this Grand Prix, they had a pit lane penalty back at the Singapore Grand Prix. I think they had a penalty under a safety car too. So these small little errors will get to you. These small mistakes have big consequences as well. The championship is not won in one race, it's not the whole season how you do. Consistency is key, as they always say. And we're coming towards the last corner of lap 28 then, with Crack will take us towards the last lap. If he does get a penalty removed, he will win the Grand Prix. And here comes Rapid then to finish, or try and finish in P2, try and salvage something. We'll see if Indy Jesus decides to fight back or not. Obviously he doesn't have to risk it against Rapid. Imagine if those two spun, or if Indy Jesus spun in the last lap, that would be absolutely barbaric. But he won't go for it, he'll stay there in P3. Knows he doesn't have to do anything. Very wise racing from Indy Jesus, I think, throughout the whole season too. Well, the top three have had their own problems throughout the entirety of this season. Not a clean slate for the top three, with a few retirements, a few crashes, penalties as well, and Indy Jesus missing about 2 or 3 races too. I think he missed the Monza Grand Prix, and he said he was expected to lose the championship lead. But Rapid and Crack crashed into each other at Kermit Grande, and they lost a lot of points too, and Indy Jesus was able to stay in the championship lead. Or may have been DC who took the championship lead. But however, Indy Jesus stayed in P2 ahead of both of them, which is crucial. For now, right on our board with the Aston Martin driver, who has done a phenomenal job throughout the entirety of this season too. Despite missing races, he's done a fantastic job. We'll go on board with Crack to watch him complete the final lap. Here he is. Crack will potentially win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here comes Rapid, and Indy Jesus will win the championship. Ahead, he finished ahead of Crack 2 on the track, and it's P2 for the Aston Martin. Rapid wins, but could the penalty be removed for Crack? I don't know. But what a fantastic drive for Indy Jesus to win the championship. He has done it. Fantastic drive. I thought to be under massive pressure at the first stint, with both Alpines, the Williams, hunted him down. But he's held his own ground, had phenomenal pace. Not got involved in any sort of contact. And at the Singapore Grand Prix 2, where we did a 1 stop, everybody did about a 3 or 4 stop as well. Fantastic pace. Good strategy course with Indy Jesus. His driver's getting better and better, because I remember seasons ago where he did bottle now and then, it must be said. But it looks like he's improved his racecraft. And he has won the championship. Congratulations towards Indy Jesus. Fully deserved. Not official just yet. We don't know. Let's go aboard with DC. There he is. Not the best camera angle, but here we are. Doing donuts. What a season it's been for DC as well, scoring multiple podiums. Not the race win. I really wish he got that race win. But there's always more time to come. I think DC needs to go further down to try and get the shot in. There we go. What about KXI? Did he say he was going to do donuts as well? He finished in P9, so I don't think he wants to do donuts knowing he was going to score a top 10 result. But DC crossed the line. And yeah, it's been unfortunate for DC after the Singapore Grand Prix. That's where things went downhill. He crashed in the last lap with the AlphaTauri driver on Minot's Hitch, who took him out. In the Belgian Grand Prix, he retired too. He had 3 DNFs after the Singapore Grand Prix. So the last 4 races for DC hasn't gone well whatsoever. Rapids joined the party. Here he is. We'll wait for the other 2. IoT Crack as well. Not the usual chaotic races we've seen with championship fights, especially with the top 3 being so close. And Crack has finally joined the party. So we have penalties, we'll start P3 upwards. So, Crack, great race, mate, on those hard compound tyres too. When that safety car came out, did you think you were a bit at a disadvantage? Did you think the safety car came out a bit too early for your liking to go on the medium compound tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix? Rapid, I have to interrupt you, mate. You haven't got your voice to share. Can you go to your party settings and allow your voice to be shared, please, mate? I think it's your first time in here because I've tried to get you the podium interviews a long time now. I think your voice is still not able to be shared, mate. So can you go in your party settings, scroll down to party audio, and allow it to be shared, please? Still waiting for Indy Juice to join the party too. There he is. Is it sorted, Crack? Does your voice say it's allowed to be shared? Right, let's continue then. So just reiterate what you said to us, please. Uh, and also, what happened during the safety car? You picked up that 5 second time penalty. Did you go off the track and somebody overtook you? They tried to overtake it back? Yeah, I think so too. I think you've won this Grand Prix if that is a BS penalty. So if it is, congratulations on the win. But for the time being, we'll take the results off the track and how it stands at the time being before the stewards get involved. But your championship aspirations this season, you've been very quick, but you have been unlucky in the last few races. Obviously, Belgium had a massive impact. You finished in P13 with no points in Belgium. How did at the Belgium if those internet connection issues didn't happen? How did you feel like the Belgian Grand Prix would have went? Because you had a lot of potential there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could determine championships too. Because I remember in the first opening race of the season, you lost out a win towards KXI and you crashed in the first race of the season as well, and you lost a lot of points there as well. So it's been up and down this season, but you've been coming back stronger in the last few races. But obviously, yeah, it's a bit too late. You are very quick. Like all three of you this season have been mighty quick, but all three of you have had your own problems this season, like speeding under the safety cars, penalties in the pit lane, contacts, being impatient as well, I dare say, and also Austin was another turning point for you too, Crack, because you lost the win there too due to that safety car footage. But do you remember that? Yeah. Are you happy this season? I know you had your up and downs, but overall, do you think like showing what you've done this season. Your pace has been mighty quick. Does it bring you confidence for your league racing in the future? Yeah, it is time to move forward indeed, and congratulations. Well, I think P3 in the championship standings, you were catching up, and yeah, unfortunately, there's not enough races left in the season to go. Only 12, so no room for error whatsoever. Like I said, throughout the whole season too. So, what point did you think that the championship was on for you at any stage? Yeah, thank you very much, mate. It's nice to talk to you for the first time too, Crack. And yeah, you did a great job this season as well. Had you up and downs like every single driver this season. Tier three is a learning curve too. It's a development process too. So you should be happy this season. I know you've had contact in Imola too. That also did to your championship hopes. But yeah, you did a great job, and I think Steve and the ILT manager, will be happy with you to finish in P3. And we move on to our champion of Tier 3. I think Rapid has stuff to do. He said he just tagged me in the Discord server. But we move on to India G's then. I interviewed you before the race, and now your emotions and all the pressure has completely been lifted off, and you're one happy man, aren't you? India
What a
Jesus.
race, Jamie. What a race. First of all, congrats on the win to Crack. Great race, great pace. But yeah, that was insane. I was tense throughout, but luckily it all worked out in the end. And yeah, I think what a great season. What a great finish of the season as well.
Yeah, talk us through it as well, because you've also had your fair share of bad luck with the rest of the two that I've talked about, Crack and Rapid, and it can be demotivated sometimes, can't it, when you have a bad few races? But how do you come back stronger from that? Like, what do you do? Do you just forget about it, just focus on the next one?
Yeah, it's what you gotta do, right? If one race doesn't go your way, you just gotta look to next week, do better, just be more cautious, yeah, put in more work to come back stronger. And I mean, I gotta say, Rapid and Crack, both of them, they were up there the entire season. We were pretty much equal, I would say. And in the end, it was just very minor nuances. I mean, as it stands, I'm tied on points, I think, with Rapid, and it's just on count back that I win. So yeah, these guys really pushed me to the limit.
I actually said that too during the early stage of the race, that if Rapid finishes in front of you, you'll be tied on points. And I actually forgot about that, towards the end of the race. So you are tied on points, but like you said, the most wins out of the season will get you the championship, if I believe that's right.
Yeah, I had that in mind as well, and I was thinking of like how it could play out, because I knew Rapid was fast and I knew Crack was fast. So I knew both of them could be ahead of me potentially, whatever strat they're running. And yeah, so I was thinking, okay, Rapid is ahead of me. That's fine because he doesn't have the fastest lap. If he had the fastest lap, this would have been a huge issue. But I was just staying behind, being cautious, and then overtook him actually. And then he re-overtook me, but there was no point fighting that since it wouldn't have made a difference to me.
Yeah, you couldn't afford to make contact as well. And during the first stint as well, you had both Alpines on your tail. And how did that feel for you? You must have been under so much pressure from both Alpines there.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by Panda's pace. I think Panda at times was the fastest driver out there. He was really pushing Rapid and myself because I initially Rapid was in P1 and I was gaining on Rapid because at that point I knew I was quicker than him, at least in this race pace. But yeah, Panda was always pushing. He was, I think, battling with Crack as well, and he was still on my tail. And yeah, I was feeling the pressure for sure. I was thinking, what if Panda overtakes me? Is he gonna back me off into Rapid? Is he gonna play the team game? But yeah, luckily some people got a pen, which I didn't quite understand how that happened. But yeah, it all worked out in the end.
And I remember talking about mistakes as well. Like with both Alpines, they made a lot of mistakes during this race, during this season, where like with unnecessary penalties and unnecessary moves, etc., and decisions. And you must have seen that as well, thinking, yeah, I could have potentially win the championship if this continues. And I remember the Dutch Grand Prix where Rapid was on your tail. Then heading into turn number 8, he hit the back of you and lost his end plate too. So that was lots of points lost there for Rapid. And this season, I think, is a bit about all consistency, like choosing your strategy at the right time, making your decisions at the right time too, not making any silly moves or anything like that, or anything rash. I know you back in the Singapore Grand Prix only made the one stop, whereas everybody else about 3 or 4 stops. So yeah, you have made the right decisions like majority of the time as well during this season, and that's what's won you the championship. Are you more confident now with your decision making and your pace in the future upcoming events? If there's any leagues out there for you?
Yeah, I think in the past few seasons I've always been pace-wise up there. Uh, yeah, I just made bad decisions, made rash calls, went for moves I shouldn't have. And I think this season I tried to work on that, tried to be and tried to make better decisions to maximize my points each race. And that paid off. So looking forward, of course, it's a new game for the new season of CRL, which always brings quite a share of uncertainty. And I think I might switch my assists a bit, might go no line, which is also gonna impact my pace. But I think what I've learned from this season is just be patient, play the long game, and even if in certain races you can't finish on the podium or maximize your points, at least take on whatever points you can get. And I'll just take that from here and into the future seasons, and hopefully that'll work in my favor.
You've been a long time. You've been a long time in the community around here in COL as well. So you've been in tier 1, you've been in tier 2, tier 3, and yeah, it's very nice to see you with the championship, mate, because you're a nice guy. You've obviously made mistakes in the past, like big mistakes I've seen. But yeah, your consistency in racecraft is getting much better from when I saw you back then. So it's nice to see you with the better, more improvements.
Cheers a lot. Yeah, I've been in all 4 tiers, I think. It's been
Me too.
quite a roller coaster. And I'm just happy to finally win a tier. And I gotta say, the racecraft this season was generally really good from the other guys, and I enjoyed racing this tier this season. So props to all the other guys showing up each week. And hopefully in the next game, this is gonna be even better, even more consistent, and we'll have good weeks in and out.
This could be my last time commentating in COL for a long time if I don't go to ACC. But yeah, like you mentioned, the next F1 season in Cone is on F124. So I was going to ask you, do you think you're ready for Tier 2? But considering F124 is on, sorry, considering the next season's on F124, the cars have changed and everything's changed. So do you think you're ready for Tier 2?
I mean, generally I would say yeah, but considering I'm gonna switch to no line, I suppose I'm not sure. Because I mean that's the last assist I'm gonna turn off, but I just think having no line makes a big difference, especially each week going around new tracks, learning new braking points and stuff. So I hope I'm ready for tier two, but I wouldn't be surprised if my pace is gonna drop off again. But that's gonna be for the last time then, and from then on it's only gonna be upwards. So I still just hope that no line is gonna bring more fun, more pace, and more enjoyment in the long run.
Hopefully, mate, and congratulations on the championship as well, and throughout the whole season. And you crack, good job this season too, mate. Come back stronger next season. Thank you, mate. Thank you, thank you. And we'll run it
Yeah,
off there
thank you.
then. I'm not quite sure this Thursday at Tier 1 I'll be commentating or racing because the last four races raced, not commentated. So we'll see. I'd rather be commentating just to ride it off because I might not be commentating for a long time and going until F124, which is a long way away, about 5 6 months away in June, whenever it comes out. But well, whatever happens, I hopefully see you all soon, whether it's Tier 1 racing or Tier 1 commentating. Join us back for 8:15 for the final race this season in Bahrain. Championship's already wrapped up by Speedcon.